Hopefully that's been helping some people. All right. All right. I'd like to welcome everybody to what I'm calling season 2, episode 2 of the Delta Amateur Radio Club Zoom meeting for February of 2021. Glad everybody could join us. 45, so that's a pretty good turnout, and I'll keep watching it and see if anybody else comes.
I often find that to have a to encourage the flow of conversation. Does anyone have like a crutch?
All right. I'll tell you what, we are honored to have online. Let's get straight to the business. And if anybody would like to approve the secretary and the financial report, do we have a motion on that?
I make a motion. We accept the minutes as published in Sparks and the treasurer's report.
Yay!
Second.
All right. We have all missed that one, Ham. I'll tell you, man, we have. It's good to have you back. All right, do we have a second on that?
Second.
All right. All right. All in favor? All right. Anybody opposed is the main thing. All right. That's the main business.
But he's still black.
Other
color
we will this will do any announcements. Joe, you're always good for announcements, and you're not muted right now if you've got anything.
Well, we've got a extra class going right now. Thursday night will be antenna feed line class, and then testing a week from Thursday night. We've got, I've forgotten how many people we have in the, hold on one second, in the class. It's 6 or 7. We've got 7 people in the class, and then I have 3 other people that have called and want to test, to where we'll have about 10 people testing, 8 to 10 probably. That's finishing up the extra class, and then we have a technician class. I've got 26 already in the class.
I was going to ask, you were talking last week at the board meeting. We're already up to a good number, yeah.
20, starting the 22nd of February, going through April the 5th.
Wow.
And, as a matter of fact, I've turned several people away already. It's getting too many. It'll run the class an extra day if I keep it open for anybody and everybody. But anyway, that's what I've got so far.
Are you going, I know that you normally record those and have it where people can see it. Are you you are going to have that for this, where somebody that not able to get in the class, they could watch the tapes and still take the test later or something? Is that an option?
Well, I've recorded the one this summer.
Okay.
And I have been recording, but I'm a little bit leery of having it out on the internet.
Okay.
I was wondering.
But we have that, then I think that's all on training that I have so far.
Okay. All right.
I have a.
I was looking around. I was getting around because you're usually good for some stuff. You've got your meeting, after ours later in the month, so you're always good for.
Right. What I wanted to talk about briefly was that I got an email from Gary Woodall, and they have posted their Skywarn training schedule for this year. They're not doing an in-person like we've done in years past. Last year, the in-person got canceled. So you can go to weather.gov/MEG /Skywarn_spring 2021. And if that's too fast for everybody, just shoot me an email at km4bbh@comcast.net, and I'll gladly forward this schedule to you. But they're starting some online trainings beginning February 25th and concluding March 25th for the basic class. There's several dates available. And actually, our March Aries meeting, we've decided to move up one day to March 22nd, just to do one of these trainings, because usually our March meeting is Skywarn training anyway. But they've added some additional classes this year in addition to the basic, and they normally have the advanced, which that's only available one date on the 29th. And then they have a spotter network operations class on Tuesday, March 30th, as well as a basic radar interpretation class on Thursday, April 1st. So they've added 2 additional classes available as well. So again, for more information, just look up weather.gov MEG, which is the Memphis office, and they have their schedule posted there. So anybody have any questions?
Okay.
All right.
I got a comment that you might want to be aware of.
Sure.
February the 23rd, Mars is having their first quarter exercise, and it involves both the Mars members and ham radio operators. They're going to be operating almost exclusively on the 60-meter band.
Okay.
So you'll hear some strange calls down there on the 60-meter band after the 23rd. I'm not sure how much activity will be there, but it definitely will be a test of interoperability between the Mars organization and the ham radio group. There'll probably be some active military units will come in and participate. It's one of 4 national exercises that we have every year. So just thought you might, and it definitely, they definitely want some interaction between the ham radio operator. I don't know whether any of them been here in Memphis have participated before, but it's very simple. They'll be asking for, might be asking for different things that the hams can get and relay back through a Mars member, and the Mars member then can put it in, and it'll go into our national network, and the DOD will get all this stuff eventually and say, yeah, y'all did a good job, or tell us we need to do something different. But
what hours is that?
I'm not sure. I don't. Unfortunately, my ARRL put out a list of all of the different exercise dates, so you can look over there. My computer's tied up right now, so I can't pull up the information at the present time. Well, let's see. But I'm gonna look on this other computer and see if I have it on it, and if I do, I'll come back in a little bit.
Will you be out at the Navy base?
The Navy base is no longer. They kicked us out. They didn't want to spend the money for the little bit of electricity that we use. So last May, I had 2 weeks to get all the stuff out of there and get off the property.
Whoa.
So that's our wonderful government for you. But anyway.
All right. Hey, Ham, I was looking here, it's saying February 23rd to the 27th. I don't see a time. I just see the dates.
Well, that's what I'm going to look. Well, I won't really know any times until we get the fragmented order to tell us what we're going to do, what time. Normally what they do, they start out on on channel 1 of the 60-meter channels. And when we get the fragmented order down, we'll know what time. One time will be for the staff to meet, and the next time it'll be for some state, and right on down the line. So that's the only time I'll know exactly what the times are. But it'll start approximately 9 o'clock in the morning, about 1600 Zulu.
Hey, Ham.
Yeah.
They can listen in to WWV for information there as well.
That is correct. WWV at 10 minutes past the hour is a Mars broadcast every hour. So you can pick up some information there. And they may just ask you, will ask you to go to the DOD website and tell them that you heard the broadcast and so forth and so on. That's part of the exercise too. But I'm still looking for my document here that I downloaded and decoded the other day. And I don't think I did it on this computer.
The most common side effects are bronchitis, nausea, diarrhea, sinusitis, and headache. If your doctor prescribes Influenza, the sooner you can start feeling like.
No, I didn't. So I can't. It's probably on the one I'm using for the Zoom meeting. So, but you can get information. ARR, like I said, I know I didn't either. I know that they put it out, and just all it is the dates and the time. So, but it's out there, and like I say, you want to look at WWV. It'll give you a little more information. I wasn't prepared to.
That's all right. No, that's all right. We can find it. Hey, you got it started.
It'll be interesting. They're going to do a lot of stuff that you guys don't do. We have encryption and all that good stuff now. So if you happen to listen to our data going across, and you happen to be able to copy it, you won't. It'll look like gibberish to you.
Okay. All right. Anybody got any other questions on that? And going back to what John was saying about Skywarn, if you haven't noticed it, he's got the link for the schedule in the chat. You can click on the chat option on Zoom down there, and he's got the link for you there. So thank you, John. All right. Anybody got any other announcements?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is from Mike Harrison. As he sent out his Sparks newsletter, he got some feedback from someone about William Salisbury. He passed away August 31st, 2020, only age 42. He was KK4 PRQ, and he was a counselor at Memphis Recovery. So that's William Salisbury, KK4 PRQ is a silent key.
I'm sorry to hear that, but thanks for letting us know. Anybody else?
Steve, well, I can give you a little bit of an update from the repeater.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Rick and I were out there this last week. The climbing crew was out there to replace the two 3-inch heliaxes for Rock 103 backup, and also that TV station that has 4 transmitters going to it. And found out today that each one of those transmitters transmitting 4 or 5 channels. So there's a bunch of channels, but they've been shut down for over 2.5 months because of all this. And they are finally back up. The actual permanent repair is not going to happen for another 2 or 3 months because the waveguide that was ordered to repair this will not be available for about 2 or 3 months. So anyway, it's Rick and I found out that what they did to repair this temporarily was crank it all together where it had split apart, and they used JB Weld. And I don't know. I can't imagine what it even looks like up there. But anyway, that's what they use to sort of seal it up and all this. And it's, all the straps and everything are still holding it together, keep the stress off of it. But they're going to wind up replacing from what I understand, all the hangers that hang this stuff. It has to be flexible, but a lot of them are just wore out. And they're having to replace those too, from what we heard. So that's kind of the latest on it. Like I say, the TV station is finally back on the air this week. Rock 103 wasn't ever a problem simply because this was their backup line, and they weren't on anyway. But anyway, ever since we found out about all this stuff, things have been a whole lot better.
Yeah.
It hasn't been perfect, but yeah, nothing's perfect. But anyway, I feel like this has fixed a lot of our problems, and hopefully it'll just keep getting better. So that's it.
All right. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it has been better. I mean, it's doing a lot better. I was going to mention, if anybody was listening when we did the swamp stompers, we had some problems for a short time, but I think that was more on our end than the repeater end. We had some setup problems that once we figured that out, it seemed to have gotten better later in the day. So it was just, been a while since we've done anything like that. And once we got some things squared away, I think it was doing better. So I don't think it was a repeater as much as just some problems on our end. All right. Anybody got anything else?
Hey, Steve, this is Dennis here.
Yeah.
I'm a brand new guy, and I have a question for Joe. Is there any chance of getting in that technician's class on the 22nd?
If somebody drops out, possibly. I'm trying to keep it at 25, and it's gotten to 26. So send me your name, email address, and cell phone number to WA4OVO@gmail.com, and I'll put you on a list to see.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for your interest, Dennis. Sorry, that is awful unusual that we've had to limit the class, but I think we've kind of got some people, trying to do some new things, probably like yourself, and it just kind of hit us here at the first of this year. But if you miss this one, we Joe, what do you normally do? You do at least 2 tech classes a year, don't you?
Yeah, I do one in February to April, and then another one starting either the end of June or the first part of July into August.
Yeah. We usually do at least two classes a year. So if you miss this one, we'll have another one for you later.
And be sure to put on the subject line tech class.
Yeah. Joe, is anybody else doing classes that you know of that might be coming up anytime soon that Dennis could go to? Or
no, Atoka started doing some classes in the middle of or towards the end of January, I believe, but they were going to be like 2 hours a night, a couple of times a week for like 12 nights, 12 different nights.
Okay. Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
I just wanted to let you know that one of your, I think, old timey members, I don't know if he still is, Joe Harrison, is a really good friend of mine, Grandmaster.
Printer?
I come and visit you guys and get, hooked up here.
Good. Good. Okay. All right. Anybody else got any other questions or anything else they want to bring up for the group before we have the presentation?
I got a piece of equipment for sale for somebody.
What you got, Ray?
It's an ICOM 7600 Tom Wilson K4ZFV. He moved to Heber Springs. I'll put it in the chat thing. Somebody wants to look at it. It's an ICOM 7600.
Okay. All right. Hey, and Ray, while I got you, not to put you on the spot, but I was just happened to be looking, the calendar you normally do. Are you planning on updating that again this year, or?
I had to rebuild it from scratch, so it's taken me a while to get it going again.
Okay.
But it'll be more functional, I hope. So
Yeah, we do miss it.
Yeah.
yeah, it's coming back. It's in the works.
Okay, appreciate it. Yeah, we want to let you know. Yeah, I do. I didn't know if it was one of those things. Nothing to. If you were kind of waiting to see what you could put on there, but there's still. Go ahead and put in there what you know or what we normally have, and we'll just keep up with it. But we appreciate what you do on that, and looking forward to when you do get it out. Speaking of that, does anybody know of anything that possibly is coming up? Any updates on Free Fest, or is that too early?
They canceled it.
Free Fest is?
It's canceled.
I don't think okay. All right. Maybe I knew that and just
That's correct, Rick, right?
It is canceled.
Yep, canceled. Yeah, our last meeting, we talked about all the possibilities and decided to pull the plug.
Okay, just totally canceled. Y'all aren't going to try to do anything on like last year or anything. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Right. I think that was the last thing that I heard was you weren't sure what you were going to do, but you were kind of looking at the options. So, okay. That'll work. I mean, always just keep your ears open. There's I saw something, there's a few over in East Tennessee later. Gosh, what was it? One in Sevierville was like March or April or something. And right now they've got their fingers crossed, but who knows? One of these days, somebody's got to be the first to try some of this stuff, but it's going to be a while, I think.
Rick, they're not going to try to do a junk in the trunk or anything?
Yes, we have talked about doing that, but waiting for, better weather, I should say. I don't know what time frame. May have to wait as long as April or possibly late March.
Right.
Of course, if we don't get any more participants in the first two, we can all do it in somebody's garage, huh?
Yeah, well, I think if the weather's better, I think we ought to have a pretty good turnout.
That's part of the problem, it's been really cold.
Yeah.
Cool or rainy, on both occasions, one of the two.
Yeah, something nicer weather, we might get a little bit better turnout. And the later we go, maybe more people will be vaccinated and not quite as concerned about it. So, okay. Anything else for the presentation?
Yeah, have you heard anything about the Hospital Amateur Radio Network here in Tennessee?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's going to continue at 12 noon Central Daylight Time on February 18th, 2021. And I know we can't hear any of these repeaters they have up, but you can check in with the wind link, which is what I'll probably be doing. But looks fairly interesting. And looks like they've got it organized pretty well.
Okay. Anything else on that? Is that, all right, that's different than the normal Wednesday at noon? This is something different just between the hospitals or?
No, it's on M tiers. It's
Okay.
out of, a guy out of Vanderbilt Hospital coordinates it.
Oh, okay.
Statewide exercise.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's M tiers wide exercise.
Yeah, there it is. I'll send this notice to you and
I've got it.
have you?
Yeah.
Well, go right ahead.
When's that, Joe?
The 18th.
18th. That's
No.
something we're none of our repeaters are on that system, right? Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. I know it. I know you've been trying that for a while. Okay. All right. All right. Well, I think unless somebody's got something else right now, we can do the presentation. And if somebody's got anything after that, that way we'll go ahead and do the presentation where somebody needs to leave. They can do that. Let's see, Ray, are you the one that's, oh, I tell you what, I got to, while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to make it where you can share, because I'm sure you're going to share your screen here. All right, share screen. All right, she's done, I got shit set up. Yep. Yep, okay. Ray, you ready?
Yes.
All right.
I'll ready as I'll ever be, I guess.
All right, time for you to jump in the deep end, man. All right, I think you're ready to share, and if you want to let us know what you got here, we're interested to see it.
Okay, first thing I want to qualify my presentation is I'm probably the least qualified to do this as anybody on the net tonight. And Rick, Damon, or Richard, and probably a whole lot of others, just jump in when you hear something that's not correct. But we're trying something a little different tonight. I've got a couple of YouTubes queued up. One is for how to set up your equipment to connect to the relatively new repeater that's on the space station. And the other is a rather old technique, which they were sending down facsimile message pictures from the space station. And I haven't heard anything lately that's happened recently, but I tried to pick something that is mainly set up, and it's not somebody, promoting a product or promoting equipment or what have you. So they're fairly short, and, somebody yell stop if you've had enough. But like I said, if somebody will correct me on something I say, or whether it's something you see on the YouTube, we'll pause and make the correction. But I've been fascinated with the space station for a long time. It's one of the few satellites that you can easily see when it flies over. And there's so many people out there that don't even know it's there. I was standing at just this picture on Mount Nebo at sunset one night, and I happened to look. I said, well, the space station's coming over tonight sometime. I'll check it. And sure enough, it was going to fly directly overhead. And there was a professional photographer there who was making pictures of the sunset. And I just walked over and I said, have you ever seen the space station fly over? And of course, I seem to do that every time it happens, if there's anybody standing around. And he said, no, can you see it? I said, sure. Just look in the northwest. It'll be there in about 5 minutes. And sure enough, it flew directly overhead, very visible. Of course, we had the advantage of another 2,000 feet or so from ground level. And he was impressed. He said, wow, I didn't know you could ever see that stuff. So, and also I have a fond memory of after an Aries meeting downtown, David Campbell used to track the space station very often, and he would tell everybody about it. When we left the meeting and walked into the parking lot and looked up, and sure enough, it was a very unique pass directly overhead. the space station, the supply rocket, and the space shuttle all
That was at
never
Baptist.
going to see that.
That was at Baptist.
Baptist Women's Hospital.
Yeah, Aries meeting.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
That was pretty cool.
Yep. So anyway, let me show you the current status, as long as I can share it here. Okay, is everybody seeing the picture?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The current status of the station is the radio that's doing the repeater and the service module radio are off. The Russian have flown up a new section to be attached to the space station, and as I read it, they had to disconnect some coax because the antennas are mounted on handrails on the Russian module, and they included disconnecting cables to the radios themselves, and it's currently not up. I have heard a couple of days ago, it's in my scan here on my radio at home, and I heard someone testing on the downlink frequency of the repeater. And I wasn't sure whether that was, it was during a pass, by the way. I wasn't sure if that was somebody local that was just testing their radio on the wrong frequency, or whether that was somebody testing a radio on the space station. So I'm not sure when it's going to be up, and maybe Rick, you have more information than I do, but this just came down. I just downloaded this from the ARISS website. Do you have anything different, Rick?
They had a scheduled school contact this morning, which they had the wrong time, about 10 minutes late. I listened and heard nothing. They're supposed to have it turned off. Both modules are showing turned off this morning for that. I'm going to read the screen here without my cheaters on, where it says progress undocked on February 9th. So I think they had them both shut down. I never heard of school contact to the Warren, Virginia coast somewhere. And the last I read was, they're going to turn it back on a packet mode for a couple of weeks after they bring it back up active.
Okay, well, this is what's on the current website, so that kind of matches what you just said. Anyway, like I said, these YouTubes are pretty much how to set up the radios, and if you're new into it, that's great. The 145.8 receive is easy. I mean, that's where you hear the school conversations usually. Anyway, let me run the first one, which is the repeater setup, and we'll stop there and yell at me if you want to stop that one. Okay, let me see if I get this up. Here we go.
Hi, and welcome back to another Tech Minds video. So in this video, we'll be talking about a brand new crossband FM repeater, which has just been activated on board the International Space Station. So on the 2nd of September 2020 at 1:02 AM GMT, an amateur radio FM repeater was activated aboard the International Space Station. Now this crossband repeater operates on FM, has a downlink of 437.800 megahertz and an uplink of 145.990 megahertz. Now, in order to activate the transponder, you will need to set your radio to transmit a CTCSS of 67 hertz. Now, the hardware for the crossband repeater was launched on board a SpaceX supply mission to the ISS on the 5th of March 2020. The radio itself is a space-modified Kenwood D710GA transceiver. The ARISS also developed and supplied a multi-voltage power supply and the interconnecting cables for the radio to be used on board the ISS. Now, what is interesting is the hardware being used currently will also support APRS and SSTV in a later mission. Now, this brings exciting new features and technologies for ham radio operators around the world to be involved with. Now, as mentioned before, the uplink to the ISS repeater is 144.990 megahertz, and the downlink is 437.800 megahertz. However, due to Doppler effect, as the ISS passes over our heads, we will need to adjust our frequency as it passes. So this radio programming chart shows 7 different channels that you could program into your radio, whether it is a mobile radio, base station, or even a handheld radio. Full duplex is not required, but I guess it's an advantage if you have the capability. Now, this particular programming list was provided on the HubNet Facebook group, but I'm unsure if who actually created it, but I'm sure we all thank you for this to make our lives easier. So with my FT991A, I have 7 pre-programmed channels, all of which transmit on the uplink frequency. Now, this doesn't change. However, you will notice that there are 3 channels either side of the receive center frequency with 5 kilohertz spacing. This allows us to alter the frequency as the ISS passes by. Now, I was able to capture a brief transmission from a recent pass, but unfortunately, I was not able to make contact even though I tried. The highest elevation wasn't as high as it could have been, so maybe I'll just wait for a better pass. Let's take a listen to what it sounded like as it passed overhead. Yes, Mike 0 Delta Quebec Whiskey. Yeah, the Echo India station, this is Mike 0 Delta Quebec Whiskey, M0DQW, QSL. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to make contact on this pass, but I am hoping to attempt to work the ISS repeater again once we have a good high elevation pass here in the UK. Now, another factor is that the antenna I'm using is a vertical dual band collinear, and it would be much better to use a directional antenna tracking the satellite as it passes by. Maybe I'll purchase an antenna specifically for this, like the Arrow antennas, and then try it with my FT3D handheld. I'd also like to point out that in order to use this repeater, you must have a valid amateur radio license in your country. You do not need a license to listen to the repeater, but you do need a license to transmit through it. Now, if any of you guys have managed to work through the ISS repeater, then I'd be very interested to hear about it, especially the type of equipment that you were using. So please feel free to leave a comment below, or go ahead and join my Discord server and start up a conversation there. Until the next video, guys, take care, stay safe, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Okay, anybody have anything you can add, your experiences or what have you?
Rick, you know of anybody that's made contact with the space station?
What was that?
You know anybody that's made contact with the space station?
Well, yeah, I have a few times lately, but I haven't been impressed with the downlink signals as compared to the old days for some reason. Used to be, one night I sat in Delta Club many years ago with an HT in the back of the room and held it over to another ham that, played with it in the past. And he said, "What's that?" I said, "It's a space station going over." I had to turn way down, but it was just smoking in there through a 2-story building there at the church. So to be, running 5 watts downlink at 200 miles roughly, it's extremely weak, intermittent, I guess you say, up and down the last few times I worked it here on repeater mode.
I'm just curious. I've got an app on my phone where you can see the passes. It looks like next Tuesday morning, I think about 6:15 in the morning, there's going to be a pass.
Yeah. We'll check here.
Looks like that's going to be for about 4 or 5 minutes. That's a pretty good pass.
Yeah, it's over Africa.
Yeah, it looks like a good one for in the morning, but you won't see it for the clouds.
Well, that's true.
You might hear it.
That's true. That is,
Might add to Ray's comment about seeing it. That's the only satellite you'll ever see.
yeah, but it is pretty, yes.
Well, you're seeing the reflection of the sun off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a much bigger.
Oh, yeah,
target.
it has to be at the, it has to be at the right angle of the sun. Yep. Yep.
You don't really get much reflection off
Yeah.
a small satellite.
Yeah, on my tracker, it will show you the reflectivity number where you can judge how visible it will be for that particular pass, which, you know, look for the larger numbers. So
Oh, that's, yeah. That's
anyway,
good. Yeah, that's a good information. Yeah.
It's larger negative numbers.
yes. Yeah, it's more negative, if that makes sense. Okay, if there's nothing else, I'll run the next one, which is the slow scan TV from the space station. It's a little dated, and like I said, I'm not sure how often that happens anymore and whether they're going to follow up with more pictures, but it's super easy to do. So anyway, here goes.
VBR. Today we're in the shack talking about slow scan television. So stay tuned. So what's the big deal about slow scan TV? Well, hams have been doing slow scan since the 1950s at the very least, swapping images on the HF band. But did you know that there's a slow scan transmitter on the International Space Station? That's right. You can periodically receive slow scan images from the ISS as it orbits above the Earth. What do you need to start out with slow scan to receive those ISS images? Well, the requirements are actually pretty light. All you need is a simple 2-meter FM mobile radio. They'll tune to the frequency of 145.800 megahertz. You'll need an antenna. It doesn't have to be a very high gain antenna. I'm using the 2-meter Slim Jim antenna. The 2-meter dipole antenna works well too, or even a quarter wave antenna. Lower gain antennas actually work better to receive those slow scan images as they cover both the horizon and the sky equally well. You do not really want a high gain antenna for this type of activity. And then finally, you're going to need a computer application that's going to decode those slow scan images and turn that into a picture. I'm using the MMSSTV application. It's an open source application that works very well for slow scan imagery for both on the HF bands and for FM slow scan that we're receiving from the ISS. Finally, you're going to need some type of tracking program. You need to know when the ISS is going to be overhead. One website you can go to is called heavensabove.com, and that will tell you when and where the ISS will be with its cast predictors. There's some real-time applications like isstracker.com, so you can see the track paths as the station moves overhead. I like to see ISS tracker because I can kind of correlate where the position of the ISS is with the received images that I'm picking up with the MMSS TV. And then really, to bring everything together, just a simple audio cable plugged into the speaker jack of your transceiver into the line input of your computer. And you're ready to start receiving those slow scan images. So let's see, we're coming close to a pass. Let's see what one of them is going to look like. All right, I can hear the sounds of the slow scan starting to come through. I'll get my microphone up closer to the speaker. Okay, now we finally have a signal lock. We can see the on the phone meter there, and an image is starting to come through. We're probably going to get about half an image a lot of static on the signal. You look north central Wisconsin here, and that's the space station is quite a ways away from us, although it is moving closer. Good strong signal, no full quieting signal. If you look at that transceiver, we're 40 over 9 here. So it's full quieting right now, excellent signal. As the space station is moving closer to our location. When the space station's at the horizon, it can be as far away as 1,500 miles, and then as it gets closer to overhead, as little as 250 miles. It orbits about 250 miles above the Earth. That's the end of the transmission. Unfortunately, we only picked up about half an image there. Back to static again, another 3 minutes before the slow screen transmitter cycles again. Following this pass, if we're going to catch that or not. All right, well, the satellite is a little bit overhead for us. We're in Wisconsin here. So we're on definitely on the backside pass of this, but it looks like we're getting a full quieting signal. A little bit of static there. Slow scan's kind of fighting it. Will it come in? Will it come through? I hope you found this tutorial interesting and informative. Now go out there, turn on your radios and see if you can pick up some of those slow scan images from the International Space Station. You never know when a slow scan weekend will be coming up. So listen to the skies and watch the airwaves. This is Michael, TV9 VBR, wishing you a great day and 73.
Anybody have any comments to add to it? Any experiences? Guess that's what I've got, Steve.
Okay. All right. Well, appreciate it, Ray. Yeah, you did for you to be so nervous about it going into it. You did good. You did good. You'll be fine for the rest of the year. You'll be good. All right.
Well, I told Ian he had the choice next month. So
well,
he didn't want to wander off in too radical departure from ordinary presentations.
Yeah. That's fine. That's fine. Well, speaking of next month, what we're kicking, again, just to let everybody know, it could change, but what we're kicking around right now for next month is kind of an overview of our repeaters, some of the capability, some of the different capabilities some of them have, and that type thing. So that's one of the things we're looking at. If anybody does have any requests, suggestions, or anything that they would like to see, get in touch with Ray or myself or Ian or anybody on the board. And we're a small group that we try to anticipate what you might want and what we want. But if you know of something that you're interested in, or if there's something you'd like to share, we're always looking for people to share what they can share with other people. All right. Anybody got anything else? Coming up on about an hour, so that's about right. All right. Well, I do want to thank everybody. One thing that I did, we have had quite a few people send in their applications and their membership for renewing for this year. We do appreciate that. Especially right now while everything's so weird and we're not even actually meeting, but people are still wanting to stay members, keep their membership up, and support the club. We do appreciate that. You can definitely send in your application and your fee on that. I think I've mentioned it before. People have asked why we don't have it set up where you can pay online, but it's just, we've looked at it last couple of years and we just don't have enough volume. It would cost us more than per transaction. It almost costs us as much per transaction as what we pay for processing that. So, if you don't mind sending in a check, we appreciate that. We've had a couple of people that said, once we start meeting, they'll pay in person, and we understand that. So, that's just the way things are right now.
One thing that.
Yeah. Cut out, Joe. Joe, you're actually muted. Yeah.
I attended the Neshoba meeting last night, and they were talking about field day, having a joint one possibly if things improve.
Oh, okay.
So that's a possibility.
All right. I'll tell you what, if somebody hasn't seen it, we got David Carey. He popped up on the chat here. He said if anybody's interested in helping him set up his radio and antenna, he lives in the Bartlett area and he's needing some help. Anybody wants to, he has a phone number there in the chat. Dave, that's something. What? Still wondering. Let's see. What kind of radio you need to get set up?
Just told you it's a boy. She didn't have to hear all that.
Yeah, I'm right here, buddy. Oh, I'm sorry at the moment. I don't even have, I was deciding between two, and Joe, you advised me to visit with a fella down Mississippi way who was very helpful. And we decided between the two, and now I can't tell you which one we decided.
Well, that's all right. That's all right. But it's an HF radio.
It's transceiver with everything. Yes.
Everything. Okay. And you already have an antenna. You already got the antenna.
I ordered a dipole. Actually, I ordered two dipoles, but I'm open for all kinds of advice and instruction because I'm very green at all of this.
I'm laughing because we all have been in that situation. Believe me. I had my general, and I actually had my first radio was a 7100 that I used for my tech stuff, and it's got all the bands on it. It's got UHF and you know, got the tech stuff and the HF stuff. And I had my general for over a year. I could not figure out where and how to put an antenna. And then it came to,
You're making me feel better.
yeah, no, you're not alone on that. Yeah, we'll see what we can do to get to this point. Got a dipole. Got have you kind of figured out where you think you're gonna maybe be able to put it, or you just need help putting it up, or?
I have talked, I guess, a couple ideas, and I think part of the question was if we even had enough space in the attic, but I've had others say that it might be a better place for it.
Yep.
I'm figuring I better have an expert take a look.
Okay.
A little advice. HF antennas in the attic are very poor performers.
Okay.
If you can put it outside, you will have a better performance, and you'll enjoy it a whole lot better.
I'm glad to know that, and I'm going to check with our bylaws in the association here to see what's possible.
Well, that's unfortunate. That I stay away from places that have those kind of rules.
Yeah, I fully understand. Yeah, when we moved here, I wasn't expecting to have the privilege to be a ham.
Yeah.
Here I am.
Well, and what they can't see won't hurt them either.
I was going to say, you know, I mean, I've got a, you know, I don't know what your antenna actually is, but I mean, I've got a wire antenna up in my house, and half the time I don't think it's, you know, I look out after a storm or something and see if it's still there, and I've got to look. I know where it is, and I've got to look for it. You know, if you've got just a real thin wire antenna dipole, you know, I'd look and see what you might be up against, but I don't know that I would raise a whole lot of attention to yourself before you put it up, you know.
This might be one of those times to get forgiveness later instead of permission up front.
There you go. There you go. Because seriously, I mean, I am serious. There after some storms, I've tried to, you know, go out in the backyard, be sure mine's okay because it's strung up between some trees, and be sure, you know, it hadn't come down, and it's hard to find it when I'm looking for it. So.
Oh yeah. Well, that could be the case here too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see what we can do to get you some help.
What neighborhood are you in, David?
I was going to say, I don't think you're going to get a whole lot of people helping you do anything outside for the next week or two. So don't get discouraged.
Okay. Okay.
How big is your garden? Do you have trees?
We do have trees. Yes. Around the back side. Sure do.
What neighborhood are you in?
Over here at Chatham Pond, kind of right. I don't know if you know where Cedar Hall is in the Ellendale area, but that's in our backyard.
Yeah, that shouldn't be.
That's near, almost across the highway from the.
That's right. Our meeting spot. You're exactly right.
Okay. All right.
Well, I appreciate that, and don't want to be a nuisance, but if there'd be someone in time, I would sure welcome it, and don't even know it's appropriate. I'm glad to pay somebody if there's something involved too with time. I sure am.
Hey, David, we got Jeff, AJ4GY, and Stacy. He says he's not far away. He'll help. He'll see what he can do to help you.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if you know Jeff or not. He does our testing and everything. So he's a good start.
I live in Bartlett too, so if I get some free time, I can help as well.
Thank you, John. Thank you very much. And I see Scott saying something similar. So this is all very, very good here. I'll make note of this number, and thank you all very much.
Good deal. All right. Good thing to ask. Oh, Jeff's got a slingshot to get over the trees. Good. All right. Anybody, anything else? Seriously, this is good. This is why we get together. You know, times like this where people feel like they're isolated.
Need Barry too to give a trivia question to ask anybody that's not on the board how much it costs to run that repeater for a week.
Oh, electricity for our repeater?
Yeah, we use this.
Oh yeah.
About 34 cents.
Less than $20 a year.
Yeah.
$20 a year. All right. Well, and y'all, and speaking of that, you know, that's something we hadn't mentioned. We have put a battery backup on that. Y'all had put you and Rick and Barry 1A have put a. Is it actually on there now, or you're getting it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's on there and live.
Okay. They put a battery backup on it, and before they did that, they kind of did a study of what the power draw was, and they're thinking, the battery we got on there, it's hard to say, because if we go to battery, it could be because conditions are bad, it'd be used more, but it would be a matter of days more than hours. So I think we're in good shape.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to put a 100 amp hour battery on my repeater. I've got some new equipment fixing to go up here in the next couple of weeks, and I'm gonna put one of those 100 amp hour batteries on there for battery backup too. So.
Okay.
Yeah, Ham, that's what we put on, is 100 amp.
Yeah, I've been looking between the 100 amp and the 200 amp. And I said, no, I don't think I'm going to spend the extra money for 200. I think 100 will be plenty.
I don't think we wanted to pick up a 200 amp.
Well, and worst thing about it is I got to get those 2 FedEx pullouts.
Yeah, we already done that.
The stairs up to where my repeater is are too narrow and too steep to carry those things down. We can carry them up, but carrying them down, so I'm gonna have to use I built a 4-gang pulley block, so I'm gonna lower them down with that. But
where's that at, Ham?
The retirement home there at the corner of Highland and Central.
Highland and Central.
Yeah, it's about a 15-story building.
Uh-huh.
And I'm on a little platform outside the elevator room. Now, I got just enough room on there for the cabinet and the duplexers. I have to kind of sneak around to get around in there and work on it. So.
Okay.
All right. Well, hey, you need some help? Give me a call.
Well, I've got a couple that I've been working with, Elmering, and I think they're going to come and they're interested in seeing what a repeater looks like. So I'm going to.
Be careful what you ask for.
Gravity will fix the problem getting them down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Down shouldn't be a problem as much as up.
Well, especially those 106-pound batteries.
Yeah. I don't want to damage the place,
All right. Anything else? All right. Well, I do appreciate it. And as always, clean up around your area and push your chairs under the table. And we will see you next month, if not sooner. Thank you.
Yeah, where's Scott with all the refreshments?
There we go. We should have had popcorn tonight for the movies.
It's all gone. Y'all have fun.
There he is.
The food budget for the last 2 years, when we finally get together, we're going to have a steak dinner, I think, man,
Yeah, he's not going to have a budget next year.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, and we'll keep in touch.
Okay.